Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about what it really takes to win in a courtroom. And here's a hint. It has a lot less to do with old, dusty law books than you might think. It is truly all about telling a great story. Okay, so let's jump right in with a question that, honestly, even really experienced lawyers can get wrong. What is the actual difference between proving a case and winning one? You might think they're the same thing, but they're not. Not even close. And figuring out why is the absolute key to persuasion. So to get this, we've got to get inside a lawyer's head for a minute. See, they're trained to think in this super structured, logical way. They focus on something called legal proof. Legal proof is, well, it's the bare minimum. It's just a technical checklist of facts you have to show a judge so your case doesn't get tossed out before it even starts. Think of it like the wooden frame of a house. It's totally necessary, but, it's not a home yet. This checklist is pretty sterile, right? A lawyer just runs down the list. Was there a duty owed? Yep. Was it breached? Check. Did that cause harm? For sure. What are the damages? Got 'em. And this is all you need to satisfy the law. But this is exactly where so many lawyers completely miss the boat because it's missing the one thing you actually need to win. So if that legal checklist isn't enough, what is? Well, the answer is this really powerful concept that trial experts like Greg Cusimano have a name for. They call it jury proof. And this is the secret ingredient. See, jury proof has nothing to do with those legal elements. It's all about the human story. It's the context, it's the why, it's all the little details that jurors are just desperate for to make sense of everything. It taps right into our basic psychology. Our brains just aren't built to process a sterile list of facts. We're wired to understand the world through stories. And this comparison just makes it so clear. Legal proof tells you what happened. Jury proof explains why it happened. The first one is for the judge. It just keeps you in the game. But the second one, that's for the actual human beings in the jury box. That's what wins you the game. All right, let's make this real. Let's see how this actually plays out with a real-world example. It involves a pregnant woman, a puddle on the floor of a pet store, and two totally different results depending on which facts the jury got to hear. Okay. Here are just the basic legal facts. Leaking aquarium. Manager tells someone to clean it, they don't. No wet floor sign. A woman gets hurt. I mean, the legal proof for negligence is all there, right? Case closed. And yet, when focus groups heard only these facts, they consistently blamed the woman. They kept talking about personal responsibility, that she should have been watching where she was going. It's a fantastic question, isn't it? I mean, the store was clearly legally at fault. But with just the legal facts on the table, they were winning. The case was a total loser for the injured woman. So why? And the answer is actually really simple. They were missing the jury proof. They had the what, but they had no idea about the why. They were missing that essential human context that would have completely changed how they saw everything. Now listen to these extra facts. After the woman fell, the manager refused to let her use the store's phone to call for help. He actually said it was against corporate policy. Then, instead of giving her a chair up front, he made her wait in a grooming room in the back of the store. Now think about it. None of this is legally required to prove the store was negligent for the puddle. But man, it paints a very, very different picture of that manager, doesn't it? And boom, there's the transformation. Once you add the jury proof, the reaction from jurors just completely flips. All of a sudden, this case isn't about a puddle and someone who should have watched their step. No way. It's about a cold, heartless manager and a company that cares more about its policies than about a pregnant woman who just got hurt in their store. The entire story just changed. So here's the crucial takeaway. You have to find and frame this jury proof really early on. This isn't something you can just sprinkle on at the end of a trial like decoration. No, it has to be the entire foundation of your strategy from day one. So, how do you do it? Well, trial experts like Greg Cusimano and Socio-Trial expert Professor Brandon Blankenship say it's a three-step process. First, you have to investigate early. You use things like focus groups to figure out what real people actually want to know. What questions do they have? What's missing for them? Second, you use that information to go looking for the jury proof, that human story. And third, you use that story to reframe the entire case. This whole idea of reframing is just so incredibly powerful. If you call a case a slip and fall, it immediately triggers this bias in jurors' minds. They start thinking about frivolous lawsuits. But If you frame that exact same case as being about bad management that puts customers in danger, you literally change the lens through which every single fact is viewed. And all of this builds to our final and most critical takeaway. The legal checklist, the competing experts, all the scientific data, that's not what really decides a case. At the end of the day, we're all just wired for narrative. Research from experts like Professor Blankenship proves it over and over. Jurors, just like you and me, make their decisions based on the story that makes the most emotional and logical sense to them. The facts and the evidence are just the building blocks. They only have power when you weave them into a compelling human story. And look, this idea goes way beyond the courtroom. In business, in your career, anytime you need to persuade somebody of something, the best story is going to win. So the next time you find yourself just listing off facts and figures, stop. Ask yourself, what's the jury proof? What's the human story that's going to make all of this matter?